Let's practice using the latch tool to cast on. We're going to do the latch tool cast on. This cast on also gives you a finished edge, and you do this cast on using your latch tool. This is your latch tool that should have come with your knitting machine. And the first thing you need to do is make a slip knot. So you take the yarn, which should be on your yarn mast already, and you make a cross like this with your yarn, and then take the long end and pass it through this loop that you've got and pull tight. And this is your slip knot. And you're going to put your lash tool in your slip knot and tighten, but not too tight. You should be able to move your hook, move your slip knot along the shaft of your hook. Okay, now we're going to come over to our needles and push them forward to the position. Something else that helps with the lash tool by cast on is to pull down a good length of yarn and then hook the rest of it on your clip. Let me show you what I mean. So I've pulled down some yarn and then hooked my yarn on my clip over there. Now we can begin. So to begin, I'm going to come with my hook between the first and the second needle on the side away from my machine. So again, if your machine is on the right, you're going to start your cast on the left. But if my machine were on the left, then I will start to cast on the right. So put my hook between the first and second needle with my slip knot on it, and then my slip knot is behind the latch of my latch tool. Then I'm going to put yarn over the hook of my latch tool and pull that yarn through the slip knot that I had on my tool. And then I'm going to come up between the second and the third needle, put yarn over my hook. Note that my stitch has fallen behind the latch of my latch tool, so I'm going to put yarn over my hook and pull it back until I've got a new stitch formed. Then I'm going to come up between the next two needles until the stitch falls behind the latch of my latch tool. Then I'm going to put yarn on my latch tool and pull a new loop through the stitch I had previously, and repeat these steps until I have basically crocheted a stitch over each needle. So if you were a crocheter, if you are a crocheter, this will be easier for you to do. But even if you're not, with practice, you can get this lash tool cast on. And it's really nice to know how to do, because the edge it gives is really pretty, just like if you had crocheted the edge of your knitting. So once you get to the last needle, you're going to take your latch tool and push it forward until the stitch falls behind the latch, and then put your lash tool over the hook of your needle and pull your stitch onto that needle, and that is your latch tool cast on. So next, I'm going to release my yarn from the hook of my end tension unit, and I'm going to let my yarn hang up on a mast. So I'm not putting it into the carriage just yet. I'm pushing my stitches back towards the gate pegs. Now I'm going to take my comb and put that on my stitches. Make sure my comb isn't hanging on the gate pegs. Then take my claw weight and put that on my comb. Right? Now the next stage is to take my yarn and put it in my carriage. I'm going to move my carriage a little bit closer so it's not too far. Put it in the carriage. Close my yarn feeder. Check my tension to make sure it's the tension I want to knit at. And then make across gently. It's a bit stiffer than with the E-line method. And I have caught my yarn, but not to worry. That's because my yarn pulled underneath my carriage as I knit and caught on the brushes, and so it caught. But here it is. Here is what my first row looks like. So I'm going to continue and knit 20 rows so that you can see what the edge looks like. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And I'm going to cut my yarn and take the comb to claw weight off and knit across to knit my work off. Let's take the comb out, and this is what the lash tool cast on edge looks like. It looks like a crocheted edge, like the top of a single crochet or crochet generally. That's what that edge looks like. So it's a pretty edge to have on shirts, skirts, sleeve, cuffs. So it's good to learn how to use the lash tool cast on. It gives you a nice finished edge.